element. Now in this, we have some certain properties for text area, for text box, for number field, for password field. What are the common properties are there that the developer you are going to use or use in the project? Okay. That we have to see, and after that we can come next. And the file we have created, that file is here. Two file was there. Two file we have created. One file we have created, that is form1. Inside the form1, just randomly we saw the syntax, how to create the text boxes and the password field, number, email, and all. What is the basic syntax that we have written in this file? Let me open this file. This one was just basic understanding of how to create the number of elements, different type of elements. Next example we have made, that is based on same tags only, but it was organized in the table. It was arranged in the table, so the look and feel was better. This is the second file where we have seen how to proper align everything. But in these properties files we have not written, we have not used any much properties. We have used one property, that is called wall span and row span for the text area to increase the height and row and to increase the height and width. Okay. Next will be, we will come to our developer guide, and in developer guide we'll make few notes like for text box, what are the common properties for all the input elements, those you are going to use or you required in the project when you write the code. This file developer guide I will share you in the chat. If you have not written, you can use this. It has many lines are written. In case file is not visible in the chat, then this much I can share in the chat again. Okay, so the list of that 7, 8, 10 lines came to your chat. Now in that developer guide, you can add here list of property, for or maybe in list of property in input, list of property in input elements. List of property in input elements. We have one property that is called placeholder. Placeholder. Using placeholder, you are going to inform to user what type of input they need to enter. It's kind of a small message. So we can say it's for input guidance. It is for input guidance. It is for input guidance. Second one we have called max length. Max length. Using the max length property, you can set the limit for a text field. User should not enter more than 10 characters, should not enter more than 20 characters. So that limit we can set using the max length. We can say it used to set limit. It used to set input limit. Limit in character. In character. Max length property. Third we have called size. Size. It used to reset. It used to reset. That means plus or minus. Plus or minus the width of input field. Using size property, you can increase the width or you can decrease the width. According to need, we can set that. Next, after that, the fourth one. Class property. It link with CSS, JS, jQuery, etc. ID property for the same purpose. It link with CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, etc. Fifth one, name. Sixth one, name property. Used to pass value to backend. Seventh one, disabled. Sometimes you'll see the text box will be disabled. We can't type anything. It makes disable to input element. You cannot enter anything in that. Disable means completely assume like non-existence, no exist. It will be there, but it will not pass the value to backend. Even it will be completely disabled. We cannot do anything on that. We have one more, read only. Read only. Using this, it pass the value to backend, but user cannot enter anything, enter new value. Like suppose you have a mobile number, some website we have where we enter, when we go and register, after registering, it will allow to enter the, it will allow to change the mobile number, it will allow to change the name, you can change many things, but certain things you cannot change. Example, email ID. You cannot change. Many banking applications are there. If you log in, they will display everything, but they will not allow to change. To change the address, we have to go to the branch. Okay, so again, it's like when you are displaying the data to the user under the input field, some field will be there, user can see, but they should not edit. Okay, some field will be there where user can see, they can edit also. So wherever you have a restriction, user should not edit, you can apply the read only, you can apply the disable. But the problem of disable is if you make it a disable, value will not go to the backend. Whichever the user has entered the value, that value will not go. So a small limitation will be there. Disable in the sense completely dead. It is just a dead element. It will not do anything. It will not pass the value to backend. But read only says I am just, I cannot take the value, but whichever the default value you have, that I can pass to the backend. So how many we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 we got, right? 8 property. Add one more called 9th one. Sometime on internet you will see while filling the form, in one form there will be many input field. But in that input field, some field will be compulsory. We have to fill that. Some field will be optional. Now suppose those kind of form is in front of you and you are pressing the tab from your computer. Like suppose if I come to any website, suppose I go to my browser and here I press the tab. Where the cursor went? First one. Again I press, went to the second one. Again I press, gone to the third one. Correct? In that case, this is the default sequence. This is the sequence is default. This sequence we can change also. Like suppose email ID is not required. Name and phone number is required. So when the user will come and he will press the first time tab, it will go to the name field. It will go to the name field. Again, he will press the tab, directly it will go to the phone number. It will not go to the email ID. That sequence we can change. Okay, that sequence we can change. That is called how to set the sequence of cursor. How to set the sequence of cursor. We have a property, that property name is called tab index. Tab index. Tab index. It starts from 1 by default. Okay. It used to set. It used to set the sequence of cursor pointer. It used to set the sequence of cursor pointer. Sequence of cursor pointer. So when the user will press the tab, how the tab should move, where and where the cursor should go, that we can set through the cursor tab index. Okay, so these all are the important property that a developer use. Some more properties are there. We can see coming forward. Now we will create a page, and in that page we will apply these properties. Placeholder, max length, class ID. Class ID and name is not going to give you much value as of now, because those are based on CSS, JavaScript and all. Max length, size, disabled, read only, tab index can give the impact directly. Okay. Okay, let's create the next file. Form 2. Form 2 already we have. Form 3.html. Form 3.html. Form 3.html. HTML is going to start, then you can follow the body directly. Under the body, you can follow a table. This table should come in center as a align, and cell padding can be somewhere 10-12. Now after that, we can use a caption property, caption tab with the H2 or maybe H1. Size, max length, placeholder. So in this, you are going to implement 3 property. Those are called max length, how to set the limit for text box, size, how to increase the width of text box, placeholder, how to give the sweet message to user, what they should enter. TH, full name, TD, under TD, we will create one input element, input type text. One property, placeholder equal to enter name. So we will run this and we'll see placeholder where it should reflect and how that comes. We can add some more properties. Let me bring it down. Max length. 20. So that becomes a soft limit. It will not take more than 20 characters. That is called max length. Once the page will run, it will show placeholder, enter name. After that, the max length property will be there. The max length property will say maximum can enter 20 characters. It will not allow more than 20 characters. Let us check now once. Taking only 20 or more than 20. We will run this file. Placeholder, it says enter name. Once we start entering the value, placeholder will get removed. On the behalf of value, the placeholder will appear. If any value is not there, placeholder will be presenting and it will inform to the user, okay, you have to enter your name. Now, when you start typing here, how many characters it will go? It will go up to 20 characters. After 20 characters, you cannot. That becomes a soft limit. Alphanumeric anything, number also up to 20 digit. Okay, a space also if you enter, a space also it will take only 20. After 20, it will just get stopped. You cannot enter more than 20. Maximum 20 characters. Next, after that, you need to see another property called size. Size. Using size property, we can increase the width of text box without any CSS. Call it a size. Size. Suppose we write 40. Normal text box will come up to 30. 25 to 30 based on browser. 40 will be little big size. Now, if I run the page, you can see text box become little big text box. So this TR is over. We can come down. We can follow the next TR. So this max length and size property. Max length and size property will not work for next element. That is called number. Except number, it will work for all. So let me write the next TR and see that. TH mobile number. Then definitely we enter here the number only. Input type equal to number will follow. Input type equal to number. But once you give input type equal to number, max length and size will not work. Max length and size property not exist with the input type number. For input type number, the property that is called max length and size is not added, not available, you can say. So in this case, if you want to limit the number of characters, we have to take the help from JavaScript, or we have to take the help from any regular expression. So once user start typing, it will not allow more than 10 or 12 or 11 as per requirement. Let me come down, add the next type. Next property, similar placeholder is available. Enter mobile number. Next will be max length. Max length. Max length. Suppose if you give 10, size also if I give 40, after we run this page, placeholder will apply, max length will not apply. Check now. Text box is bigger size. Mobile number field is just default one. In that, if we add any kind of number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, limit will not work. Max length will also not work. Max length only limit here, that will not work. See, it's not getting applied. Reason these properties are not exist with which one? Number. A number. It is available for the password, available for the email, available for the text. Okay, even placeholder and max length is applicable for other property as well, but it's not applicable under the input type equal to number. Without, it will go here there, not aligned properly. Table is for alignment. Table you are using for what? Alignment purpose only. Okay, without table, you can see the first page. How it was. It was here there. So once we learn CSS, we will not use table, we will use the division. For division, we'll write the CSS and we'll align it properly. Now, another option apart from table will help you to align the content properly. Okay, so table we are following. Now see, this page look like this. This page look like better than that. Now, if you will not use table here, you can't control the alignment of the text. Okay, text and boxes will go here there. Okay, you have to write the CSS to control that. And still HTML not clear, CSS will write directly will be difficult one by one. Now we can use some other property also here, other input element. We have a field called number, email, input type equal to email. There, this all are applicable, max length and all. Copy this tr and tr to tr completely you can paste, copy and paste below. Right, called email ID. Email ID. So input type equal to number will give. Sorry, input type equal to email will give. Input type equal to email. Input type equal to email. Enter email ID. Email ID. Now this email ID max length 10 we have given. We can increase that. Suppose for character 40 character. Size also 40 character. 40. So 40 character email ID can be a 40 character. Now this both will work here. You can say size will also work and max length will also work. Let us see it once. We can go here. Coming. Now next add the text area. Text area, the big text box. Under the big text box, we can apply the max length, placeholder, rows and column, and then we'll make a note again. Next here, you have called th message. In this, we can add a td text area. Text area will open close. Now for this text area, what are the properties we have? We can apply here. We have one property called max length. Max length equal to 100. So more than 100 character, people cannot type under this input field. More than 100 character, user cannot type under the input field. One property. Second property is, okay, let me keep in the same line, max length. Second property, I will add here called placeholder. Placeholder. Enter message in 100. So placeholder will also come. Next, after that, related to height and width. Related to height and width. So for that, we can use property called rows, ROWS. Rows is going to increase the height. Okay. Rows equal to, suppose we give as a 10 rows. Next we have called cols, COLS. It will help you to increase the width. 40 suppose similar. Next property we have max length given, placeholder, rows, column given. Okay. Next we have enable disable. So we can check with this many. Is it getting applied? This line and close here only. The text area closing should not go to the new line. It should be in the same line. Without a space, you need to close. If you give a space, then placeholder will not appear. Suppose text area is open here and text area close here. In between whatever you will write, it will consider as a value. Between open and close, whatever the content we are going to write, it will consider as a value. And if by mistake also, if you given the space here, the placeholder will not apply. Let me show you how the text area is going to come in the browser. I'll show you why we should not close anywhere. Suppose this is this much. Placeholder is coming properly. Enter message in 100 character. Now let me go here. At this place, open and close is there. I will write for Bangalore. So Bangalore become the value for the text area. Now by default, once we run the page, it will display the Bangalore. It will not display the placeholder. Let me show you. When I went to the browser, it is showing by default as a Bangalore. Now suppose if I will not write Bangalore here and give a space. So the space will become as a value. Now placeholder will see there is already a space. Means already value is there. Placeholder will not apply. Look at it. The placeholder will not apply. Now suppose if you think, okay, let me go to the new line here. Suppose we came here. If I run the page, see still placeholder is not coming because between open and close there is some space. That space considered as a value. Now look, when I click under the text box, text area where the cursor is blinking after so many space. So this all whatever the cursor is blinking after some certain space, that will be considered as a value. If value will be present, definitely your what will not come, placeholder will not come. So because of that, when we write the text area should not go to the new line. It should close immediately after the after ending of starting point. Open and close will be together without a space. Okay, now, so that possibility is gone, right? Next, after this, suppose we have this email ID. Inside email ID, by default, some email ID you are displaying. When you go to the edit profile in Naukri.com, when you go to the edit profile, so Naukri.com will display everything. There may be a chance Naukri.com will not allow to change the email ID. So the email ID should be locked. It should display there, but we should not change it. We should not be able to change that. Okay. So for that, there is a property. First, you have to display the value. So how to display the value? Original, like existing value. Existing value, how to display? So for that, we have a property called value. Using value property, we can display the old value. Like wherever you go to the edit profile, it will display your old value, old details. You can modify that. When you go to the change mobile number, it will display the old mobile number. You can delete that and add the new number. Similar way, question is how to display the default value under the input field. So we have a property called value property. Using value property, we can display default value. Suppose I will write here test@gmail.com. If I save the file and come to the browser, I can see under the email field, placeholder will not appear. Instead of placeholder, it will appear as a test@gmail.com. It is here. See, so displaying test@gmail.com. Now people can modify it. People can modify also. By default, that value will come and people can modify that value also. Right? People can modify that value also. Next requirement says like user should not edit the value. User should not modify the email ID. So for that, we have a solution here. Number one solution that is called read only. READY, read only. You can write directly read-only property also, but only property will not be the right way. We should use property and value together. So property is the read-only, and value also you give as a read-only. Or usually we can write true false also. So we given value equal to read-only and property equal to read-only. So this email field value will display. You can click there, but you cannot modify that. That becomes a locked. That becomes a completely locked. That is called read-only property. You cannot edit that. You can click there, but you cannot edit that. You can click here, but you can't do any changes. Readable, it's become the readable, only read only. But still we are able to click here. The getting activate, deactivate. If you click on submit button, this test@gmail.com will is able to submit to the backend, because as of now it is not disabled. It is enable only, but read only. The value of the text box can go to the backend, and the value of in that text box, the value can come from the backend. But if you make it a disabled, let me go here. We can use the property as a disabled. 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 Disabled equal to disabled. Any one you are going to use at the same time, not both, either read only or disable. Now we made disable equal to disable. You can check. You cannot click on that. It will become completely locked. Complete lock. See, if I go here, the email ID is fully locked. Even not able to click also. So how many property you got idea? Size property, max length property, placeholder, read only, and disable. And one more call, this one. Call is a value property. Value plus rows and column. These both are not under our list, so we can add this both. Okay, in developer guide, we can add these two properties, rows and columns. Rows and calls both we can add. So hope it's clear. Placeholder for what purpose? To give some kind of message what people should enter. Max length is going to set the limit, how many character users should enter. Then size is going to help you to increase the width without CSS, but it's limited, not applicable for number field. Value property can help you to display some default value. Then disable will completely lock the text box input field. It's applicable for all. Read only will not completely lock. It will make as a read only. You cannot enter the new value, but whichever the existing values are there, that value can go to the backend to front end, front end to backend. Come to the developer guide, we can make a not disable we have written, read only we have written, tab index we have written. We have not written call value and rows and calls. You can write the 10th one. 10th property call value. It used to set default value. Default value. Set default value. Come down below. Write the 11th one. Rows. 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 Increase height of text area. 12th number we have calls. It reduce, not reduce, it's increase. Or you can say it set the width. Here also we can write it set the width of text area. Okay, using that we can set the width for text area. Okay, next after that, we need to implement the remaining property, tab index. Come to the same file, form 3 only. One place we are given disabled. Come to the first text box, right inside, tab index. Tab index equal to 1. 1. So once you press the tab, by default your cursor will reach to this text box. Okay. Mobile number, we will give tab index equal to 3, just for the checking purpose, whether it is going to happen or not. Mobile number, tab index 3. So after name, cursor should not go to the mobile field. Okay, because the name is tab index is a 1 and the mobile number tab index is 3. 2 we have to give somewhere else. Email ID is disabled, so your cursor will not go there. We can go to the message box. Message box. So hope we wrote the tab index 1 for first text box, tab index 3 for mobile number, tab index 2 we can write for the text area. Tab index 2. Tab index equal to 2 for text area. Okay, ready? Tab index 2. Now after this, we can check as per the tab index. The first, once you press the tab, cursor should go to the name. Second tab will go to the message and third tab will go to the mobile number. Because the sequence we have set in that way only. Come to the browser. The first I press the tab, it went to the name. Second tab gone to the text area. Third tab gone to the mobile number. So that meaning the sequence is working properly. You can check again. The first tab index we have for the name, okay, happen. Second tab index is for the mobile is happening. The third tab index is for the phone number. That is also happening. Right? So hope we got idea. Many times the tester people will raise the minor bug saying that tab index is not aligned, tab index is not set. So that time again we have to modify the page. So whenever you create a form and in the form whichever the mandatory field you have, for that mandatory field you can set the sequence. For optional field you can leave the sequence.
Suppose then not give tablet.
By default it will come. If you not give for the mobile number, check what is coming. 2 where you have given. 2 is for the text area. And don't give for 3. Don't give for mobile number. Next option will go that only because that is the third option. Okay, if you not give anything, by default it will go in the sequence. But suppose inside a form there is 100 fields. 100 fields are there. In that 100 field, only 5 fields is mandatory. The first one, middle one, and last one. Now, if you are not setting the tab index, by default it will be 0 all sequence. Now user has to press how many times tab? So many times tab they have to press, then only they'll go to the particular one. The condition is in one form there is 100 field, 100 input boxes are there. In that only the 3 fields are mandatory. The first is a name, in between somewhere there is called mobile number, and last is called query message. Okay, in between some other fields are there. Now user is using the computer laptop. He don't have the mouse. His tab is not working. Touchpad is not working. He cannot go to the directly text box. So what he will press? He will press the tab. Now he will press the tab. When he press the tab first time, text box pointed, no problem. He enter the name. Now remaining after the name, 20 fields are there optional. Now he has to press the continuous tab how many times? 20 times. So instead of that, why can't we set the tab index in the sequence for the mandatory field? Tab index 1 for the first one, tab index 2 for the mobile number, and tab index 3 directly for the which one? For the your query message. Remaining will be no tab index. After that, after filling this 3 input field, still user is interested to fill remaining. He can press the tab and go in the sequence. That way we can do. Save the file and let us go next. So this you have list of properties. In that we have not seen one called class, ID and name. Okay. So class and ID definitely is going to come with the CSS. Name, one example we'll see related to forms. When we use the get post, how that work. Value property you saw, tab index, this all you saw. Only 2 is missing, 3 is missing. Name, class and ID. Okay. Let's go for the next file. Third file we can create. This, the third we can leave now, fourth we can create. Create the next page called form4.html. There we can use some more properties. HTML you can start. This should be form 4. HTML open, HTML close as well. Inside you will follow the body directly. You can follow a table tag again. Center and cell padding. Before table also we can write one H1 tag and we can apply align property. And we can write here, send your message. Send your message. Now under this, we can write the first ER. In first ER, there will be 2 TD. Two TD. In second TR, only 1 TD. Third TR also 1 TD. And fourth TR, double TD. Okay. One first TR, double TD. Second TR, only 1 TD. Third TR, only 1 TD. And fourth TR again double TD. Ready? Now see, in first TR, how many TD? 2 TD. Now second TR and third TR means in the second TR also 1 TD is missing and in the third TR also 1 TD is missing. Okay. If you run this page, it will look little unbalanced. Okay, let's try that. See what is going to come. In the first TR, we have a text, the text TD, create a text box inside. Input type equal to text. Okay. In the second one, create one text area. Text area. In the third one text box. Fourth also one text box. Fifth also one text box. Fifth TD and sixth TD also one text box. Just add here. First year 2 TD is occupied properly. Last year also 2 TD occupied properly. Okay. The missing TD we have in the second tier and the missing TD we have under the third tier. You can run this page. You will find the column is mismatching. The number of column is mismatching. Mismatching. The number of columns you have, it is getting mismatched.
Yes, it is mismatching.
So mismatch. We want that text area we have. The text area should cover the remaining space. The text area should cover the space of two columns are missing here. So for these two missing column, the text area should cover the entire space. Now you see in that and you just think whether row span will be the right solution or col span should be the right solution. In this, two columns are missing somewhere. What we should add? Row span or col span? Requirement is this. The text area should cover the space till here. Till here. No.
Row span. Row span.
Row span. Because the text area is in the first row. And our requirement is the text area should get expanded till here. Till where? Till the third row. Now, if you are saying, okay, text area should take the place in the first row also, and text area only should take the place in the second also and third also. So the text area is going to occupy total how many rows? Three rows. One is the current rows and two more. So total becomes a 3 rows. So at this place, call span will not help you. Call span will help you when, if you want this text box should come till here. If the second row first TD or third row first TD should take the full width, then call span will help us. But at this place, you are not increasing, you are not covering the columns, you are covering the rows. So row span will help you. Okay. So row span again property is not for the text area. It is a property for TH and TD. So in the first TD, in the first row, the second TD you have, to the second TD you will say, you will take the place of current TD also, current row also, and take the place in the second row also as well as third row also. Okay. So for that, it is already one TD and remaining how more TD we want to cover? Two more, right? So two missing TD plus one current TD. You have to write college row span equal to 3. Row span equal to 3. Row span equal to 3. Now after covering the row span, yes, the TD is able to take the place of first row, second row and third row. Now through program, we have to increase the height of text area. We have seen one property just now, how to increase the height of text area. Let's see. If I go to the browser, it look like this. Here manually we can increase the height of the text area, something like this. But we want it should be automatic. When the page will run, automatically it should take the place of how many? 3 rows. So through the TD, to the TD you have given, okay, you take the place of 3 rows. That is the outer level element. Now inner level element is called text area. Now for the text area, there is a total 3 rows. So we will add here a property called rows equal to how many rows? Give us a 10 rows. Now 10 rows will be more. Give us 8 rows or 9 rows. Try with the 8 or 9. It should fit. Look like this. Come down. Here. After the, so hope you added the row span and rows. Both are different. Row span and row both are not similar. Rows is especially for text area to increase the height, and row span is for the TH and TD. Row span will help you to combine the space of 2, 3, 4, 5 TR, whereas rows will increase the height of the text area. Both are different things. Now come in the last, add one more TR. Add one more TR. There we want to display one button in the middle. In the last year, we want to display one button in the middle. So how many button? Only one button and in the middle. Okay. Now to bring in the middle, first you have to cover the width of both the TD. Look at the previous TD. How many columns? 2 columns. 2 columns. So first we should have a column in such a way that should cover the full width. So let me write here a TD. And for TD, we will add here call span 2. Why call span 2? Because in the previous other TD, in the previous other TR, whichever the TR we have, like 1, 2, 3, 4, there is a calculation of 2 TD. There is a calculation of 2 columns. But in the last row, if you want to come in the middle, then how to come in the middle? Because half will go to the one column and half will go to the other column. So the solution is first you combine the space of both the columns. Combine the space of both the columns. After combining the space of both the columns, you find the center area. Where is the center? So what we did, we wrote the call span 2. Using that, we combine the space of both the columns. Now, nature of TD, it will print from the left side. Your button will not come in the middle. So you have to apply a property here called align as a center. Now, TD is taking the full area, whereas we are doing, okay, align should be center. Come inside and follow a button here. Inside, simple you can write send message. Okay. Check your WhatsApp once. You got any photo in the WhatsApp? Group, WhatsApp group. I've sent you some photos.
Yes.
It is the basic structure of table. There you will be remembering the property of row span and call span. Okay, in that the border colors are there. You can see the border have some color. You can use the border color property. You can use the border color property. Let me write here. Border as a, suppose I give as a 5, and then I'll write call border color orange. Border BORDER. It's coming unhighlighted. Okay, it's got applied. Border color again orange. Cell padding also we can apply some more. Suppose let me give as a 15. Cell padding is a 15, and border color is orange. Border 5 and border color is orange. Okay, so this look like this. So what is happening now? It is combining the completely. This is combining the 3 rows. Here is the separate rows. Here is the separate rows, and this is the last row separate row. Now exact based on similar solution. The photo I have sent you. You can try that. It will give you a lot of helpful. It will give you a lot of idea. You will remember that those row span and column span properties. Okay. Border color. Border color may not work in old browser or Edge. You can check in Chrome or Mozilla. There it should work.
Sorry, Shiram sir. First of all, could you please explain again that last one? TD send message. Actually, I got doubt. I didn't
This
understand.
one,
Yeah, this one, sir. Please again.
see here in the previous row, how many column we have?
Two
2
columns.
we have. Now what we want is our requirement is here. Button should be in the center.
Okay.
Now how button will come in center? Because half is for one TD and half is for other TD.
Correct.
Right? Photo is also explaining. No? See, button is exactly in the middle.
Yeah.
Now when I come to the code, suppose if I remove this call span, then by default this button will go to the first TD. See here in the
Yep.
here how many TD? 2 TD. So here we have only 1 TD. So once we follow this TD without any extra property, then this TD will say I will be the first occurrence. Means I will follow the first position. So this TD will come where in the left side. Let me come in the page.
Okay.
This happened the first occurrence. So it will take the which column? First column. Now in the first column, your button is coming in the center. So our requirement was button should be exactly in the middle. Now how you will come in the exact middle, because half is for one cell and half is for other cell. Okay,
Right.
no problem. Then we have a solution. First we can combine both the cells. We can combine the space of both the columns, first column and second column. Then question is how to combine. Then we have a property called call. So using call span, you given as a 2. So it will take the complete width of first and complete width of second. Right? That meaning total area, entire width gone to which TD? Only one TD. And
Yes.
reason to write this align as a center is what? Because TD will start by default from left side. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I'll remove this. Okay. I added the.
Yes, sir.
Let me go to the browser now. You can see now the TD is covering the full area, but content start from left side. That is the default behavior of TD. Okay.
Yes.
If you want without any extra property, This should print in the middle. Then we have another option. Which option? TH. TH. TH will say, yes, I am also covering the full width, but my default behavior is to print in the middle. So at this place now what will happen? You don't have to apply any extra property called align. Just directly your TH will take the full width and the default alignment of TH is center. So your button will come in the middle. Let me go here. Button came directly in the middle. In case if you are not using the TH, you are using the TD, then inside the TD default align is where? Left. We have to add the property so that align will be as a center. So two options if you have. Number one, call span will help you to combine the space. Number two, if you are following the TD, then align property is required to bring in the center. If you are following the TH, then directly without any align property it will come, because default behavior is center only. Okay. So hope clear.
Yes, yes, sir. Clear. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, so this way it appear better. The 4-5 photos I sent you, you try that today. Tomorrow we will create some. Okay, tomorrow we'll not spend directly on the forms and table. Tomorrow we will learn like how to divide the page into multiple blocks. Like suppose that is the old technique. Okay, that is not newest technique, it's the old technique, but that is a preparation for your new technique. Okay, in HTML we have some feature that is exactly similar logic you are going to apply under the JavaScript. That is called Ajax or page method, page API method. Okay, similar logic you are going to apply under the jQuery, that is called jQuery Ajax. Similar logic you are going to apply under the Angular and React, that is called routing. Okay, overall that explanation will be for the asynchronous call. First we'll create 3-4 pages and there we will see the synchronous. Okay, when we are creating the page, if you are linking directly, then what is that? Is it synchronous or asynchronous? After that we'll come to know, okay, it's happening like this. Then we'll find the next solution. In that we will understand if you are creating only HTML pages without reload the page, how to change the content, how to call a HTML inside HTML using asynchronous call without JavaScript. And another concept will be this one. Another concept will be this one. Suppose you are going to create a page and your page design is different, layout is different. So how to design the different kind of layout using HTML? Only HTML, not using CSS and all. Suppose this become one layout. This become a one layout. Maybe you want something like this also. This can be a second layout. Second layout. So at this place, you can see the layout design is how many types? 2 types. At this place, a question will come in HTML. Do you have any tag? That tag will help you to design the layout like this. Okay. In this, suppose you are going to click here. Suppose links will be here. Link 1, link 2, link 2, link 3. Okay. Now if you click on any link, data will appear here only. Content will change here. You are clicking in the first box, but the content is changing under the middle box. Okay, that is called the asynchronous call. But usually it's happen under the JavaScript and all. But in HTML we have a tag. With the help of that tag we can make it. Okay, it's an old technique, but it's going to give you a lot of idea. So that will be the preparation for the future upcoming times. So first we'll see how to create, how to like when we can understand it's a synchronous call, and then we'll learn how to design the multiple layout, After designing the multiple layout, we will implement on asynchronous basis. Then you will get idea of input tag also, output tag also, and synchronous concept will come in mind. Okay, so that will be the tomorrow task. See you tomorrow.